Welcome back to Inside the Mind of Greg Heffley, the series where we realize our childhoods were a lie, and Greg is a pretty awful guy. This time around, we have the new book, Big Shot. You hear that? It's the sound of Deltarune fans celebrating. Now, right from looking at the cover, you know what you're getting into. Greg is depressed as usual, but he's in a basketball hoop, wearing a skate and sneaker, while holding a soccer ball and hockey stick. Sports! Jeff Kinney decided to take the series in a slightly different direction here. A book that doesn't focus on school or traveling somewhere. From the first few pages to its last, Big Shot is unique. Most Wimpy Kid books are a collection of random events and stories written by Greg, but this is hyper-focused on our main hero getting on a basketball team and what comes from that. It might even be the most focused book in the entire series when it comes to the story. A bunch of the sketches also feature crowds of people, which is a nice evolution of the author's abilities. Drawing all of this isn't as easy as it looks. As someone who's grown up reading nearly every entry, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Jeff Kinney pulled through with something older fans can appreciate. Anyway, enough of that intro garbage. Let's hop into the content of Big Shot and step inside the mind of Greg Heffley. The beginning of the book introduces everything sports and how Greg isn't a fan. He didn't do great in soccer as a kid, but believed he would become the best. Back then, I was sure I was gonna grow up to be a professional soccer player. I even kept my rookie card in mint condition in case it turned out to be worth something one day. So, this is a pattern in Wimpy Kid. Greg always believes he'll come out on top, that he'll be rich and famous. When you go through the books, that never ends up happening. He believes he's the most important guy in the world, but that's only because he doesn't want to consider his weaknesses. And speaking of weaknesses, early on in Big Shot, we see him try exercising at the gym. None of that works out, but he stays determined to prove himself to those around him. In his mind, he doesn't want to be seen as a weak kid. To show his strength, he just lifted the weights off the barbell to make it a little lighter. That goes as well as you think. Another interesting scene early on is when Greg is talking about the Olympics and the medals you can earn from them. He may not be a sporty guy, but he loves bragging to others about his accomplishments, even at their expense. He writes that if he won a gold medal, he would never take it off. The sketch is him at a funeral. Everyone's grieving the passing of their loved one, but Greg could care less. He proudly appears near the corpse, distracting some with his shiny gold medal. Okay, this is a god-tier out-of-context moment, but when we're talking about the actual character, yeah, Greg's being awful. That destructive personality continues with his best friend Raleigh, who he takes advantage of whenever possible. Greg's mom gets the family terrible snacks, and she won't buy any more until they're eaten. Because Greg thinks having them himself would be a fate worse than death, who better to call than Raleigh? So lately I've been having my best friend, Raleigh, over for tasting parties to help me clear space in the cabinets. Even when the snacks suck, he disguises this as a fun event, and Raleigh sees it as an absolute win. If we've learned anything about this friendship, it's that Raleigh is only useful when Greg is put in a better position because of him. Manipulation 101. Big Shot continues with a few flashbacks, including a story of him and his dad heading to a football game. Turns out there's this thing called Fan of the Game, which places random people doing crazy things on the Jumbotron. We already know Greg wants to be the best person in any given place, and he wants others to see that, so of course, he does whatever it takes to be the best. He even ends up getting lost, and using that desperate opportunity to take the spotlight. Now as Big Shot continues, our hero ends up joining a basketball team, despite hating everything about it. He wants nothing more than to stop playing. He doesn't understand why people like sports so much, or why he should keep doing this. Quite possibly the most revealing moment of his personality this entire book comes from the ending. It's the final game where everything's on the line. Greg and his team have lost literally every single basketball round up until this point, and this is their final chance to prove themselves. When a player on the other team gets a foot injury, Greg is about to win by forfeit. However, circumstances lead to him joining the enemy team to keep the game going, and then the entire thing comes down to a single shot by the Wimpy Kid himself. Spoiler alert, he makes it in, securing a victory, but making his original team lose everything. I finally got to see how it felt to be the hero for once, and for the first time, I could see why everybody's always making a big deal about sports. As Greg celebrates, his original team is devastated in the background. We don't even see them. Greg ends Big Shot by saying that while doing this next next year would be fun. Sometimes you should just quit while you're ahead. And then the secret comes out. The reason he never cared about basketball is because he was seen as a weak person, losing game after game. The only way he found enjoyment in it is through abandoning his own team and winning. That's all this was about. He doesn't care for the hurt feelings of his former teammates. He only starts caring about basketball the second he could show his strength with winning. He just wanted the sweet victory of proving he's a hero. In the end, Big Shot gives us a lot of new information about Greg's personality, and all I know is that he's never gonna change.
But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.